You literally can buy anything in this world except for a national championship. You have to earn it.
To Webster, and that'll do it.
I think about it every day. In the locker room, we talk about dreams that we've had of it.
Shadair McNeil.
I just want to be in that spot and know what it feels like to be a national champion.
Let's go.
She just started beatboxing and came out of nowhere, and we were just like, oh, Selena can do that.
I couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
It just gets us like relaxed, you know, like yes, this is the tournament and this is a big deal, but like just do your thing and everyone just chill out.
I can feel a little bit like little. That's all I got.
It has been decades since the heyday of beatboxing, and nearly as long since the Texas volleyball team raised a national championship banner. Since their last title in 1988, Texas has reached the national semifinals 5 times, including 4 in the last 5 years, but never won the championship.
It's a lot of disappointment in your life when you don't end up where you want to be, and at Texas, your main goal is to win a national championship.
After finishing the regular season with a 23-4 record and a Big 12 championship, the Longhorns entered the 2012 NCAA tournament seeded 3rd overall, and with home court advantage for the first 4 rounds.
We felt a lot of pressure on our shoulders because of the last few years where we got close and didn't make it, got close and didn't make it, and really you start just feeling like, who wants to be that team? It was pretty heavy to carry that coming into the tournament.
Texas opened tourney play by sweeping Patriot League champion Colgate.
Unloading Haley Eckerman.
I give credit to Texas. I mean, they're one of the best programs, and I honestly think they're a national championship caliber team.
In the second round, the Horns would face Texas A&M, the first meeting between the two schools since the Aggies' departure for the SEC. It was a matchup Coach Jarrett Elliott had anticipated weeks earlier.
There's a team by the name of Texas A&M that probably will be ending up here. So I encourage you, once that is announced, to buy tickets immediately so we can keep all those Aggies out of this gym.
We know we're playing Texas A&M, and I think the rest of the world knows that. Naturally, that's our rival, so we've established that, and we're just focused on doing what we need to do.
It's a double dose. You want to win for sure, and you don't want to take a loss and then lose to the Aggies.
Feel it in the air. This is a very, very special setting and a special rivalry.
It was loud. I remember for maybe 2 seconds I kind of checked out of my head and just listened to the crowd, and it was roaring. I couldn't even stand it. I had to check right back in. I was like, can't do it.
And inside the block, Haley Eckerman. Webster right over the top of the block. No defense for that.
The Horns won the first set 25-16, but the Aggies responded in the second set.
Texas A&M is finding some unbelievable spots right now. Texas, to me, looks like a completely different team.
We had things going on our side of the court that were really bad. Obviously, we could have played at a higher level, but I thought A&M just did a great job of playing good volleyball.
Texas A&M won the second set 25-19 to even the match at 1.
I think whoever wins this next set is really in control.
Eckerman ripping cross court, absolutely unstoppable. Texas has taken the 2-1 lead. That'll do it. Good block on the outside by Hannah Allison, and it was a battle. Why not? The Longhorns and the Aggies.
They've got the size, the power, the athleticism that I really haven't seen.
6 days later, Texas would face Florida in the round of 16, a regular season rematch. The Horns swept the Gators in August, though each set was decided by 3 points or less.
This is going to be a loud Gregory Gymnasium tonight. to see a lot of that from Bailey Webster, last year's Big 12 Player of the Year, having an outstanding tournament. Webster wants it. Take a listen, and if Texas scores here, watch this place erupt. It's what a lot of people wanted to see, and it's what everybody's gonna get. Texas and USC tomorrow night.
As the Longhorns prepared for their second match in as many days, there was one pressing matter for fourth-year junior Bailey Webster: graduation.
Y'all came an hour early. That's too early. Congrats on the win.
Thanks. Are you coming tonight?
What time is it?
8.
I got a reception for my graduation around that time.
Okay.
But I better win.
I know.
Call to the stage Bailey Marie Webster, who is receiving her degree in communication studies.
It was really nerve-wracking. I don't think I've ever been that nervous in comparison to being on the court. Now that that's over with, all my focus is on the game, on the match tonight, and I'm just really excited about it.
The regional final matchup with Southern California brought a familiar face and volleyball legend back to the 40 acres. USC head coach Mick Haley was the first and last coach to win a national title at Texas in 1981 and 1988. Haley left Texas to coach the U.S. national team in '97. 2 years later, he was hired to be the head coach at USC, with the understanding that he would remain with the U.S. national team through their participation in the 2000 Olympic Games. In the meantime, USC assistant Jared Elliott was promoted to serve as the Trojans' interim coach. Haley took over the USC program in '01, with Elliott leaving for Texas. Haley proceeded to lead the Trojans, a team made up largely of Elliott's recruits, to back-to-back national titles in 2002 and 2003. Now, the two coaches would face each other with the national semifinals on the line.
Our goal, and I'm sure his goal, is not to beat me or me to beat him. It's more about getting our program to where we both want to be, and that's the Final Four.
He didn't make a big deal out of it. It wasn't about the coaches. He made it about us and about the match. But it had a special significance. He didn't have to say anything.
When the Longhorns felt USC was late coming out for warm-ups, they engaged in a little pre-match gamesmanship aimed at the Trojan locker room.
Yelling into the tunnel, it's pretty intense. I like doing that. We do that when teams are in there and haven't came out before us. And for us, it's kind of respecting, like, it's our home court, so you should be out before we are. I get really loud too, because I want them to let them know that it's on.
It's easy to get caught up with the name USC. It was do or die to go to the Final Four. This is where we got knocked out last year against a California team. I felt a lot of pressure.
Make them take great swing after great swing. I don't think they have it in them. Right? And they do, then we'll figure that out.
Moore gets stumped.
Cat Bell with the finish. I mean, that's how you finish as a middle blocker.
All Mick Haley can do is sit back and watch.
That banner that was hanging there before, I just felt like, you know, him claiming that banner, saying that it's his banner, it's not yours anymore. Like, it's in our gym, it's our banner.
The lone senior on this team, McNeil, to try to send him to the semis. We'll be hooking the horns in Louisville, Kentucky. Texas is headed back to the national semifinal.
After we won, I just really felt like we could actually do this. Like, I didn't really feel it before, but it just like clicked that night. It was a great feeling.
You made Texas proud tonight. Okay, you played with heart, you played with resolve, you played consistent, and you believed, and that is huge. Our fans had a blast, and we're going to the Yum Yum Center.
Still to come on Point, Texas, the Horns return to the tournament's final weekend, where they've been haunted in the past, but never quite like this.
We kept hearing tapping, and our sink like kept turning on by itself.
Are you gonna eat Kentucky Fried Chicken?
I love it. I on? Can you see me? So we just found out that this hotel is really haunted, and Molly's gonna tell us the story.
Okay, apparently there was this couple that they were on their way to their wedding night, and the husband was walking across the street, or the soon-to-be husband. He was walking across the street, and he got hit by a car and died. And then the lady was so devastated that she came back to the hotel and she committed suicide in one of the elevators. And her friends found her there.
Oh,
no, I know.
Creepy.
And her friends found her there, and these two girls that stayed in the hotel, they found a withered rose in front of their door.
Whoa.
I know. As they were cleaning up, they heard running steps on a hardwood floor. But these aren't hardwood floors; they're carpet. Sprinting.
It used to be hardwood floors.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. And then they woke up in the morning, they went back to sleep, and they woke up in the morning and they found another dead rose in front of their door.
Maybe we'll see her. I don't know.
The team made it through their night without any frightening encounters, and the next morning practiced at the KFC Yum Center.
So way to be aggressive with it, huh? You're still about 2 squares.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I am.
It's probably pretty good right there.
As a coach, you walk into Final Fours, and we've obviously been to the last 4 out of 5, and each one has been a little bit different for me. I'm comfortable in terms of going to battle with this group. I think they're ready for it. I think they're excited about it. I think they know what lies in front of them with Michigan, and they're not taking that lightly.
Michigan is in. The improbable win by the Michigan Wolverines, upsetting the tournament's #2 seed.
The Wolverines, who finished tied for 6 in the Big Ten, took out number 9 Louisville on its home court in the second round, and number 2 Stanford on their way to the national semifinal.
I think there's a bit of a, people use the Cinderella thing, but I think our teams always felt we can beat those teams and felt that we, if we play the way we can, that we deserve to beat those teams.
The night before the matchup with Michigan, the remaining 4 teams took part in a welcome banquet.
I've been given permission to give you any superpower. Which one is it? Why? What would you do?
I would read people's minds. And that'd be perfect for this dinner because everyone's quiet. I'm like, oh my gosh, hi.
Bailey Webster, ladies and gentlemen.
The team, still dressed in their banquet attire, returned to their hotel for a player-run film session to close the night.
She's swinging like his eyes closed. Oh, ooh, that was a good crow. Kind of rowdy.
The only way to get things started here in Louisville. Another big-time swing from Eckerman, and right now the size advantage for Texas is huge. Webster swinging from way outside the line and goes cross-court to get it. As impressive a first set in a national semifinal as we've seen in quite some time.
Texas held Michigan to a hit percentage of 0 in the first set, but the Wolverines seemed like a different team when they switched ends of the court.
This is what Michigan has been able to do, just kind of scrappy, kind of hanging around, finding ways to make plays.
We got a little frustrated at times. Ultimately, that gave us a little bit of anxiety. They played well and fed off it.
They weren't afraid to try new things, which made them kind of scary because they didn't have anything to lose.
In the second set, the Wolverines were led by Lexi Irwin, who, after a sluggish first set, returned to her All-American ways.
Dana Miller. Irwin to finish it off in the second. And Michigan able to even it up.
Texas dropped their first set since the second round against A&M. The semifinal was tied at 1.
Now you've got a Michigan team that is starting to believe a little bit. Into the triple block. Point Michigan. Back back to Irwin. Another good touch, but not enough to stop it. Lexi Irwin has Michigan up 2-1.
The Horns were on the brink of elimination. Coach Jared Elliott made a change.
Jared Elliott said he's changing up the matchup in this set. That means Haley Eckerman is going to start in front row right now, where usually Bailey is front row, and he's trying to see if the change in the matchup will bring a change in the game.
Sometimes you have an opportunity to, flip lineups and get different matchups. So we wanted to get into some situations early in Game 4 where we felt we could side out early and get this team confident.
Webster off the fingertips, Point Texas.
Texas is liking the change in matchups.
Terrific adjustment by Jared Elliott, the move before the set started, and that'll do it for the Longhorns. They win the 4th set, and we will go to a 5th. 15 points, got to win by 2.
The 5th set in volleyball is not where you want to be.
The Longhorns trying to continue their quest that has been so heartbreaking for Longhorn fans over the last 4 years.
Something special about this team that you could look each other in the face and say, let's do this. Like, there's no other option. This is what we're going to do.
4-0 Texas. So Texas in control here in the 5th. McElhaney. Can they do it again? And they have tied up Texas here in the 5th.
Tied 8-8, I think a lot of us are just thinking 1 point at a time. Don't look at the future. Don't look at this could get us into the championship. It was kind of, we have to play together as a team.
Webster terminates down the line. The Texas motto this year, when it's on, it's on. It is definitely on.
Texas took a 12-10 lead, setting the stage for the biggest point of the match.
Now Irwin in the front. Sarah Palmer got it.
You could feel the tension as the play continued and the rally got longer and longer.
Free ball, Wolverines. Dana Miller back to Irwin. And there's Palmer again.
My mouth was just open. I was just like, how did she do that?
And another free ball.
3rd chance for Irwin. And Palmer responds.
It happened 3 times in a row, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Thank God I dug those 3 balls. I fed off of her energy, and then I was like, okay, if she went through that trouble to give that up, then I need to put this ball away.
And Webster puts it away.
Bailey hit it, and I almost wanted to cry right there because I was so glad.
It was over after that for us that, okay, there's no way they're going to take this from us. That just sealed it.
Looking for McNeil, and she ends it for Texas. And the Longhorns are into the final for the 2nd time in the last 4 years.
God, you guys got heart. You guys got so much heart. You never gave in. You believed. Okay, you made some good adjustments. Okay, and we did a great job. Sarah Palmer. You are good. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's why we play. Okay? It's not always easy. You got to get in there and battle a little bit, fight, find a way to win, and you did that tonight.
Next on Point Texas, Jared Elliott has led Texas to some of the biggest wins in program history. But his greatest victory didn't even happen on the court.
Wow, I did not know that. Okay.
The 2012 Texas Longhorns had the hardware to back up the run to the national finals. Coach Jared Elliott was named Coach of the Year. Sophomore Haley Eckerman and junior Bailey Webster were named first-team All-Americans. Yet there was still one award to be handed out: National Player of the Year. Eckerman and Webster were going up against their championship game foe, Oregon's Pac-12 Player of the Year, Elena Bergsma.
The 2012 AVCA Division I Player of the Year is from the University of Oregon, Elena Bergsma.
That trophy should have came to this team. I kind of just looked at Haley like, it is what it is.
The Longhorns say they were motivated after losing the award to the Duck Star, who also was named Miss Oregon USA in 2012.
There's a lot of motivation to kind of beat them and show them who
the real player of the year should have been.
It wasn't really as like she won player of the year. It was like, Miss Oregon, we're about to knock you off.
On Saturday afternoon, with the national championship match 3.5 hours away, Jared Elliott faced perhaps his most daunting challenge as a coach, prying cell phones away from college students.
What happens is with social media now, people can stress them out. I don't have tickets last second. I don't know how to get to the game. I don't have a ride. There's all different kinds of situations, and that becomes a stressor for them.
With preparations complete and 32 matches behind them, the Longhorns embarked on their final trip to the arena. The journey from preseason camp in Austin to a championship in Louisville was down to one last mile.
My hands were shaking, my body was shaking. I don't know why, I haven't even done anything yet. It was probably one of the most nerve-wracking moments of my life because this is that thing you work for so long. It's finally in the palm of your hands, and one little screw-up could mess up the whole thing.
Shot, wait for me.
Texas would face another familiar face in the national championship match. Oregon head coach Jim Moore held the same position in Austin from 1997 through 2000. His team would attempt to counter the physicality of Texas with speed and quickness.
When you have a fast offense, it can cause a lot of confusion. It can cause a lot of difficulty in terms of trying to stop them.
In the first set, Oregon speed was no match for Texas as the Longhorns controlled the net. But it was a dig from senior Shadair McNeil that helped Texas to its biggest lead of the opening frame.
What an up.
It hit me in my face, and I got really, really mad.
Shadair gets pretty upset when she gets hit pretty hard with the ball, like hop high on the shoulder in the face. He's like, I was so pissed off that I got hit there.
I like spun off the court, and I was about to walk off, but then I noticed that I got it up, and I was like, oh shoot.
And another block, that's number 4 already for Texas.
It was a changing moment, and this game is about momentum, and little plays like that can be a big difference changer.
The Horns dominated the first set. Texas had 7 blocks, Oregon none.
The ricochet off the face of the All-American.
Texas handed Oregon its worst set loss of the season, winning the first game 25-11.
Winning that first game the way we did, it's very easy to kind of come into that next set with a little bit of a letdown, thinking that we're really good and they're not. So
back row attack, Eckerman dug up, Plum, quick counter to Bergsma. Point Oregon.
Late in game 2, Oregon calls a timeout. I rarely ever call aces from the bench, and I just said, hey, she's going to get one here.
Oh, and the ace for Eckerman gets Texas a set point.
I knew, after that, we knew that we were going to get it.
Here's a chance. Look at the Webster on the outside. And they get it. And they've been here before. Up 2-0.
Texas had lost to Penn State in 2009 after leading 2-0, though the Longhorns hadn't lost a match after being up 2-0 since. They were still aware of that defeat.
We didn't want to be the 09 team. We didn't want to be the one that choked or, couldn't hold it together.
We knew our history, our program's history. We know what's happened, and we don't want that to be us. We want to change it.
Allison looks to Eckerman. Down the line this time. 25 kills for Halion Bailey tonight. And it's 3 points to a championship. Eckerman again.
2 points away, I think I started realizing, oh my gosh, are we about to win? In 3? A lot of things started going through my head, and where you just can't help but smile. The fact that it's going this well, is this really happening right now?
They have Eckerman, who's going to be hitting against Lauren Plum. It will be a shock if they don't go to her.
Instead, they go to McNeil, and now they've got championship points all lined up.
I did my little routine that I do, and I was just like, Shaw, just get this ball in. Don't miss it. Just get it in.
To Brenner and the block. After years It's a hit for the Horns and the 2012 National Championship.
Losing only 3 sets and winning the tournament, the Horns had been nearly perfect. Their celebration, however, was less than stellar.
We're getting a lot of criticism that our dog pile really sucked.
I was thinking, okay, I blocked it. I'm going to run and be the bottom of the dog pile. But that didn't happen because no one dog piled on top of me.
My plan was to attack Hannah because we were all running in towards each other, but I think she thought we were gonna collide, so we both fell.
It looked like a powwow. It was embarrassing. I was kidding.
The 3-0 sweep for Jarrett Elliott and the Longhorns. And it was as close to perfect as you could get.
This is ours! Oh my God.
Exactly 1 month after winning the national championship, the Longhorns were given the highest honor Texas athletic teams receive on the 40 acres.
You come here and they have orientation, and it's always like, oh, you can light the tower with the one, and you get really excited after hearing that orientation, but then to actually do it is another thing.
It was the first time it really sunk in, hey, we're national champs. And my only regret was after the tower lighting, I drove around town trying to find some place where I could just sit there and watch it, and it was such a cold night, I had nowhere to go except sitting in my car.
No matter how the next years come up, this was a year that Texas won.